Guys, so we have a late Scorpio moon transiting through the sky today. That means that our moon in Scorpio is going to be coming into a conjunction with the south node, forming a square to Saturn, also forming a trine to Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. We also today have Mercury in Taurus in a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus. The Scorpio-Taurus axis kind of lit up today by some serious stuff we got going on. Maybe definitely some heavier vibes today. We may be feeling a bit restricted or blocked in terms of progress that we're trying to make. Themes of destiny and karma coming up for sure. This is definitely like karmic detox energy that we're in as well. So let's get into the report today and let's talk about everything that our Scorpio moon is indicating in our chart today. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Monday, April 18th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. We have that Scorpio moon going on right now, late degrees of Scorpio, actually. And because of the various planetary placements, what we have going on in the sky right now, whenever we have the moon coming into the end of Scorpio these days, it's also like setting off some other planetary activations. So there's kind of a lot wrapped up in the chart for today. First of all, as I mentioned in my intro, I kind of laid all of these out already. We have the moon going to be coming into an exact conjunction with the south node of the moon. The south node rules karma. It also rules the past, and it's really the things that we need to release and move on from in order so that we can really go in a new direction that is geared towards our soul's growth and what we need for our own personal expansion at this or any given point in time when we're talking about the south node of the moon. And therefore that also brings up the north node of the moon, always in a polar opposition to the south node, ruling destiny, the future, the path ahead. This north and the south node, this axis talking about, what we have learned, what we're very good at, what sort of makes us comfortable, and also what we need to graduate from in order to go through a new phase of growth that is being represented by the north node. Right now, the south node in Scorpio, north node in Taurus. I'm really ultimately at the end of the day reading this as sort of like a karmic detox because, Scorpio, the south node, this is trying to help us really purge, release, and move away from a lot of the toxic attachments of the past and places where we've been surrendering our power out of any sense of lack of value or self-love internally. Represented, of course, by the north node in Taurus, ruled by Venus. That's the lesson that we are trying to learn here. We are trying to release and move on from any type of like deep, complex, psychological or emotional patterns that have resulted from some type of wounding or some type of trauma, usually, that keep us in the state of self-sabotage, essentially out of at its core, a sense of that lack that keeps us from recognizing our power and our ability to free ourselves. So that's sort of a galactic lesson that is coming through over this period of time, generally, where we have the nodes transiting Taurus and Scorpio, but especially when we have the moon coming into exact alignment today. This is our emotional body. This is our feelings. This is what's going on inside of us. This is also like our intuition and like the calling of our soul, I guess you could say. And lining up with the south node, this may be bringing up some really deep and profound emotions or wounds or like traumas or like painful feelings that we're dealing with, but it is for the purpose of helping us to recognize the impact that they're truly having on our ability to move forward in a way that is in alignment with our true desires, Taurus, Venus, and our ability to create from that place. So maybe definitely bringing up some heavy emotions today. This is very emotional energy that we're dealing in today. I mean, whenever we have a moon in Scorpio, this is really emotional, but when it's lining up with the south node, and also not only that, as I said, there's, some other aspects that are being formed as a result of this specific Scorpio placement. And that happens to be a square also to Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Now, Saturn is another planet that is ruling karma and lessons. And with the moon in the south node also ruling karma, lining up together and forming this square to Saturn, we could definitely be feeling some type of resistance or restriction or blockage or frustration or depression or just heavier negative, more self-critical feelings going on, especially perhaps in regards to the progress that we're trying to make and maybe feeling like held back or limited from moving forward in that direction at this point in time. This aspect. I mean, squares on their face value also, this is a 90-degree angle, and they always have a tendency of sort of bringing up causing conflict or tension or frustration. This could be very much internalized today also with the moon forming the square, especially in Scorpio and with the south node. So there could, again, be these like lower feelings or feeling just down on ourselves or just feeling heavy or more depressed today, specifically again with Saturn in the sign of Aquarius and this square also falling between the nodes and the moon lining up. It could definitely relate to the forward progress that we're trying to make right now as well. So if you're feeling that way today, it will pass. This is a moon aspect. The moon moves quickly, and when we're dealing with moon aspects, these are sort of like fleeting feelings on like a more like grand scale level. So, we may be in this energy today, but by the time that the moon moves tomorrow into Sagittarius, this is likely to shift and change quite a bit. So we really want to make sure not to be like internalizing a lot of like self-judgment or being like a very harsh inner critic in regards to our progress at this point in time or our growth, or just allow like negative self-talk in a way that sabotages the release from a negative self-talk and those negative toxic patterns that is trying to be indicated right now energetically as well with the moon coming into that alignment with the south node. Remember, this is an emotional alignment with the things that we need to release, to let go of, to move away from. And simultaneously, it is bringing up these lessons and these karmic themes, this karmic detox. It's really, really energy right now in this year, in last year too, has been working so hard, like working overtime to try to really break us free from karmic loops and karmic patterns that perhaps have been going on like generationally as we move into this shift of the ages, into the age of Aquarius that is all about self-mastery and self-empowerment and self-knowledge and co-creation with God and universe. We gotta let a lot of stuff go that has been like very deeply ingrained in us, into our subconscious mind as well. This is also today in this energy a really good opportunity for us to really release some of the toxic subconscious programming that we may have been operating out of. And actually, with another aspect that is in play in the chart today now, with the moon lining up with the south node, not only is this forming the square to Saturn and Aquarius, but it's also forming a trine to our grand alignment that we have going on right now, Jupiter and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. These are water signs, Scorpio and Pisces. So they're forming a trine to one another. And on this hand, this aspect is actually representing this spiritual awakening or this infusion of like Christ consciousness energy or spiritual understanding or spiritual connection that is actually trying to enlighten us in such a way that we are able to release these karmic patterns of the past and sort of see reality through a new lens based on these spiritual truths that we are learning about, discovering, and coming to right now. And that is actually changing like our whole viewpoint on reality and allowing us to release some of the old perceptions, the dogmatic beliefs and viewpoints and mindsets from the past that may have been like holding us hostage in these karmic loops that are preventing us from moving forward in this new direction in recognition of the truth of the value and the worth and the potential that we hold inside of us and the power that represents to go on this journey back to the truth of our authentic creative potential and be able to tap into those resources and create from that place to serve the greater good of humanity, which is this trajectory that we are all being called towards right now as we enter the age of Aquarius. And in this 222 year, universe is telling us that as a result of that shift, we are bound to attract and magnetize into our lives lost opportunities, unlimited possibilities, miracles, blessings, divine like relationships and connections that are coming in to like fill the void of the things that are no longer in alignment with us and that we are releasing as we are going through this metamorphosis and this rebirth into creating this new age, this new paradigm as a human collective. So once again, today, you guys, this energy, these aspects that we have coming in, I feel like are really quite significant in our energetic cleansing, our karmic cleansing, our karmic detox right now that is really helping us to move in this new direction energetically, vibrationally into these Aquarian archetypes, these Aquarian frequencies as humanity, individually, one by one, which extrapolates out over time to the collective whole as we create the age of Aquarius through our own individual shifts. And that is what universe is assisting us with in this energy. But Again, the way that it's presenting today and the fact that we have this moon south node alignment also forming the square to Saturn, any resistance that we were being called inside today. Like today, I feel like energy is asking us to be perhaps a bit more withdrawn, a bit more isolated, to really sort of do some inner work on ourselves, because whatever roadblocks or struggles or challenges that we are coming up today, it's sort of our job in this energy to look inwards and see if we can find the root of those within us. Because, vibrationally, truly, we only face and encounter conflict externally when there is some type of conflict that is going on internally within us. And so we're really being asked in this energy to view our external reality and the things that we may be coming up against now as a mechanism to help us decipher what is truly going on within us and what we need to heal, what we need to release, what we need to move away from, what we need to shift, what we need to change. And with Jupiter and Neptune together in the sign of Pisces, this also represents like a massive spiritual healing that is coming through as well. We are being blessed and gifted with the opportunity to really heal those places through this divine love and light energy on a really feeling and emotional level. Water signs happening in Pisces and Scorpio. So it's like any of these deep wounds that are being triggered today, or any of this resistance that we are coming up against, the universe is telling us, the chart is telling us that through connecting to spirit and really grasping on to that divine inspiration or to that knowledge or to that understanding, we have an ability to really heal these wounds within us, heal these conflicts within us, heal these resistances and blockages within us that can help us move forward down this new path based on the re-recognition of the truth of the value that we hold inside of us. Right now, the north node of the moon is positioned at 23 degrees of Taurus. And that Sabian symbol is a jewelry shop filled with valuable gems. Now, again, the North Node, this is the path ahead. This is our destiny. This is where we're being called. This is the next phase in the lesson plan. And with it at this degree right now, this is telling us, and also in the sign of Taurus ruled by Venus, this is definitely telling us that we are in the process right now of rediscovering the wealth that we truly, and the value that we truly hold within us, and our ability to use that to cultivate that same experience externally, to manifest and to attract it into our lives. And we have all of the power to do so right now with this huge, beautiful conjunction of planets that we have going on in the sign of Pisces between Jupiter and Neptune. Now, Jupiter has moved out of exact conjunction to Neptune. This aspect is formally over. Jupiter is now 1 degree in advance of Neptune in the sky and will continue moving forward. But this conjunction is still very, very much in effect for the chart of the energy today. And again, it is representing this profound spiritual healing or spiritual awakening or spiritual connection that we can really tap in and utilize to help us in overcoming any of these challenges, also represented by Saturn and also by squares, in regards to releasing ourselves from the grip of these karmic cycles, South Node and Scorpio in the moon, of the past on a very emotional and internal level today. So emotional soul healing really coming through in the chart, but it may feel a little cold as well. It just may feel a little isolated and difficult. It's sort of like a lonely road that we're walking back to wholeness in this energy. But again, that really sort of is just what is being presented for us today in terms of, I guess, the way that we truly need to go about the process of breaking ourselves free. Because again, we're dealing with a square to Saturn, and Saturn really means business. Saturn really wants to elevate us to the most refined and perfect version that can last throughout the ages. You know what I mean? It's this healing process, this karmic cleansing, this release, this detox is no joke. And Saturn really sort of wants us to take it seriously. And so that is probably, I guess, just sort of how we need to look at this, slow and steady wins the race, I guess, and not be overly harsh on ourselves if things just aren't necessarily going according to our plan or moving forward the way that we would like them to, or things just seem to be sort of held back and not making forward progress today. We really don't want to like do too much of turning that inwards on ourselves and being like our own worst enemy in this case, because people also might be being very judgmental, very critical today, and especially also in regards to any forward movement that we might be trying to make right now away from past patterns. And we really can't let the opinions and judgments and criticisms of others like sort of infiltrate down into our own self-talk and sort of sabotage our progress at this point in time. So all of that, but again, you know, with this trine going on from the moon and the south node in Scorpio to these planets in to Jupiter and Neptune in the sign of Pisces, this is intuitively walking away from things as well. This is just like waking up one morning and just like seeing life through like a different colored glasses, and just like not even wanting to engage with certain things the way that we used to, and just like intuitively like being called in a new direction, and like sort of being okay with that, with the trine being in effect between these planets, facilitating things and assisting them to fall into place. This is also very, very, very psychic energy today, you guys. Jupiter and Neptune in a conjunction in Pisces, trine the moon in the south node in Scorpio. Like this is very intensely psychic energy, and we should be paying attention to our intuitive hunches today, intuitive guidance, and any just type of psychic impressions or something, dreams, especially too in the sign of Pisces. Very much so be paying attention to your dreams right now, because they could really be giving us some guidance in terms of anything, you know, that we may need in this energy. Healing, very much so, this healing, this trauma and the wounding from the past as well, with the trine setting up, and deep, profound emotions and spiritual awakening being represented by this trine from Jupiter in Pisces to the moon in Scorpio and south node today as well. Now, another aspect of this chart that we have going on today, the Taurus-Scorpio axis is kind of like lit up today. We also still today have Mercury in a conjunction to Uranus. The exact conjunction was actually yesterday on Sunday, but today Mercury's at 15 degrees of Taurus, Uranus is at 14 degrees of Taurus. So this conjunction is still very much a thing as well. And again, this is happening in the sign of Taurus alongside where the north node is. The north node is at 23 Taurus, and these planets are at 14 and 15. So about a 10-degree orb separation, but all happening in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus's position today is kind of significant, and we'll talk about that as well. But Mercury and Uranus together, this could be some very shocking, surprising news or conversations that really wake us up to something in some type of a way, or free our mind in some type of a way as well. Uranus is the planet, the great liberator, the great awakener, and also ruling the age of Aquarius that we're moving into now. And there could definitely be some mindset shifts going on alongside the other things happening, the emotional things happening in this energy today, that's really waking us up to some type of like very real, authentic truth, or that is liberating our mind to perceive things in a different way, or that is just generally like shaking up our thought processes. Perhaps like, again, this very bizarre, out of the blue, sudden, surprising people coming and saying like the most off the wall stuff, like making some very spontaneous and like erratic, perhaps like sudden shocking decisions or choices, and just really weird conversations, just a lot of shocks, surprises, out of the blue stuff perhaps happening in terms of like the information realm of stuff going on today. News, headlines, things on media, social media as well, like crazy off the wall things that people have said being sort of like reiterated again and again, like through social media or something like that. This type of stuff we could definitely expect. Also, this is happening in the sign of Taurus, so it could definitely be related to some type of like financial, economic, resource, supply chain type issues, things having to do with money, also relationships as well. There could be some really bizarre conversations happening in partnerships, relationships, or in regards to like the things that we're working on, like projects that are going on right now, or finances for sure. So definitely wanted to mention that as well. But considering that, you know, we're also talking about the north node in Taurus, and we're talking about the moon lining up with the south node in opposition to the north node, making the square to Saturn in Aquarius today, and then we're talking about these two planets. It's like whatever information is coming through, whatever awakening we're gaining, whatever conversation or off the wall thing is happening in like relationships or interpersonal dynamics with people or in terms of the news or the headlines, it is having to do with this process of releasing us from these karmic loops and helping us to move forward in this new direction in with a greater recognition of the value that we hold inside and the sense of empowerment to create that gives us moving forward. North Node in Taurus. So this is also really significant. Now, I want to talk about Venus for a second. Venus today is at 15 degrees of Pisces, actually forming an exact sextile to Mercury in Taurus. So because of that, again, this definitely reinforces the like financial and relationship themes that might be coming up in these wild conversations or interactions that we have going on today. But also Venus being at 15 degrees of Pisces, that Sabian symbol is an officer drilling his men in a simulated attack. And so again, considering that we have the moon in the south node together and square to Saturn today, this also may feel like we're under attack in some type of way. So there may be just some vibes today that we may be feeling like we're like being assaulted or we're like under attack in some type of a way. But the thing is, this is actually a simulated attack. Like this is not actually real. And that's another thing that we need to keep in mind. Again, like I said, this is a rather fleeting aspect or energetic today. By the time we get to tomorrow, the energy will have shifted dramatically. And so we really don't want to internalize any of these things that are going on right now. And we also don't want to attach to them too much and like concrete them into the reality that is our own personal universe. And so I just wanted to note that as well, because being at that degree, it's just sort of like, and also Jupiter and Neptune is still in a conjunction, like things really just are not as they appear. And this is some quite hostile energy that we have going on. I mean, Scorpio is also ruled by Mars and Pluto, and this full moon cycle that we have playing out right now was in a square to Pluto. Like there is just some tumultuous energy going on right now as well. And so if you are experiencing feeling like you're under some type of attack today, don't attach to it too much and don't like put too much weight on it, because as the energy changes tomorrow, you may realize that it was not what it appeared and that it didn't carry the weight or like the destructive potential that it may have presented with. So I wanted to mention that as well. But generally, like overall in the energy today, I just feel this sense of perhaps like blocks and resistance to being able to move forward in the direction that we're trying to go at this point in time, which is to free ourselves essentially from these attachments of the past and these belief systems and these mindsets and the subconscious programming. That's another aspect of this energy today. It's like the South Node and Pluto, or the South Node and Scorpio. The South Node and the Moon in Scorpio lining up together today in square to Saturn, but also in the trine. This is the trine to Jupiter and Neptune. This is an ability, like I said, to release that subconscious programming of the past that may have been sabotaging our progress moving forward. But simultaneously, with this trine coming in from these two planets, we really, really have a very strong opportunity right now to reprogram our subconscious mind with our truest wishes and our true soul's like desires, especially with Venus there, the type of relationships that we want to have, how we want our life to look, the type of circumstances that we want to experience, what we wish to build and create and grow for ourselves in alignment with this new direction that we are trying to move in now, as we are releasing ourselves from these old, outdated ways of operating and being from the past that have to go in order to move forward in this new direction. We really have the ability right now, through a hugely, vastly expanded imaginative energy, to really imprint that on our subconscious mind and allow that to sort of like trickle down and become the powerful influence that is guiding the manifestations and the experiences and the circumstances and the relationships that we are attracting into our lives, instead of this old trauma-based subconscious programming. We are being able to heal our own subconscious. And Pisces, this is also the sign that rules the unconscious. And Scorpio, this is the deep recesses of our subconscious. And Jupiter and Neptune, this is a profound ability to align with this like high heart energy and like what we truly love and what we truly desire and what we truly wish and imagine that into being. Like that is really, we really have an ability to do that in this energy, and we're being asked to learn to do that as well. As we move forward into this Aquarian paradigm, which is an age of co-creation with God and universe, that is something that we are going to realize has a much more significant tangible like force than we have given it credit for in the past up until this point in time. So we really in this energy as well have a very strong ability to reprogram our subconscious mind through imprinting our soul's true desires through our imagination onto our subconscious as we are clearing out and releasing the old traumatic subconscious programming of the past, with the moon and the south node coming together in the sign of Scorpio today. So energy today, it really may be provoking some very powerful and transformative emotions, but again, and this crazy information that may be coming through is for the purpose, with the North Node in Taurus and all these alignments going on today, of helping us break free into this new direction based on an authentic truth and a recognition of the value and the worth that we hold inside of us, and the self-love and self-empowerment that translates into, that can perpetuate us forward into, again, like tapping into our potential, cultivating what we came in with, activating our destiny, and finding a way that we can actually serve the greater good of humanity based on that authentic potential, and or just ourselves to like be more self-sustaining or more self-reliant or more personally resourceful, and help us unplug from the matrix in one way or another. And any way that we are using this energy along those lines is going to help us attract and manifest things that will support us in that process and truly like feed us on a very like soul level, like really bring us true forms of fulfillment that our soul really like yearns for and desires. And that is what we are waking up to as well at this point in time. So that really is pretty much what I have to say about the astrology today. The sun is also at a very interesting degree today, 29 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is the music of the spheres, which to me like is the grand symphony that is being orchestrated by these planetary bodies and the frequencies that they're emitting as we are navigating and unfolding through this cosmic blueprint that symphony is orchestrating. So I love that symbol too, and I feel like the sun at this degree today is really telling us that like everything is going to plan, the blueprint is unfolding per script, and we just need to trust the process. The orchestra is playing on, and each planetary body is playing its role in the unfolding of our transition into the age of Aquarius today. So that's really what I have to say for the astrology today, you guys. I have some tarot cards to talk about today. Shuffling the deck this morning, asking God, Spirit, Universe, what's some good symbolism that can help clarify like the energy of the collective and sort of where we're at today in our process of everything that we're going through. What is sort of the state of the collective, or what do we need to be aware of today? We got two cards coming out of the deck and then the back of the deck. And again, this whole message to me is really sort of just like having patience in this energy and being able to find and maintain a state of inner peace, inner balance, despite any blockages or lack of perceived forward movement that may be going on at this point in time. The first card that came out of the deck was the Hermits, and this is obviously about like going inside, like being more withdrawn, internalizing things a bit, but it is in order to come to a place of like self-illumination, in order for the light to come on, in order to really discover what's been going on. And again, this does sort of remind me of this energy, Saturn in square to the moon in Scorpio conjunct the south node. Like today really is a day of sort of more inner work, inner reflection on what we need to heal, what we need to release, what we need to overcome in order to release ourselves from these karmic cycles so that we can move forward. But again, this is definitely just referencing some more withdrawn or internalized energy in search of illumination or enlightenment in one way or another. And then the next card that we had coming out was the Six of Swords in reverse. And the Six of Swords, this is a card of moving forward from like a more troubled waters into a more like peaceful, safe space, in one way or another, depending on the circumstances for which it's being interpreted. But when it's in reverse, this is basically telling me like, perceived lack of forward movement in one way or another. And this lines up perfectly to the chart today, because that's exactly what these aspects are sort of indicating, like a need to be more internal and to like do our work. But we may be like this square may be bringing up this resistance or this like feeling of being blocked in our ability to move forward away from this Scorpio energy, away from the like karmic cycles of the past into something new. Like it may be bringing up these internalized tensions and frustrations or conflicts going on as a result of feeling like we're being not allowed to move, limited in our ability to move forward in the way that we want to at this point in time. And I just feel like that is what this card is representing. And then on the back of the deck, we had Temperance. So yeah, like this whole message is just about having patience, not judging ourselves too critically for any perceived lack of forward progress away from the, you know, more rocky waters of the past towards more like peaceful, serene surroundings and environments that are more supportive in one way or another. Our job today is to sort of be the hermit, go into some hermit mode, do some self-work, do some self-reflection, like figure out our issues so that we can release, clear, and move on in this energy and not be too harsh about, again, like an inability to really just like full steam ahead in this energy in the direction that we want. And, you know, with Temperance on the back, this is asking us to really to have the patience to really temper out what we have going on, to not be too critical, to not be too like fast paced or have too much of a desire to just like speed ahead, to really make sure that we are keeping a sense of inner peace and inner balance that is going on within us in the face of whatever blockage to our progress we might be facing right now. So the Hermit and Temperance, we need to find and maintain our inner peace. We need to be more withdrawn as these inner issues are sort of illuminated for us, and not let any resistance to our forward movement disrupt our ability to regulate our own emotions in this energy, essentially. So the cards are extremely descriptive of the energy. I pulled the cards this morning before I looked at the chart, and it's always like interesting when I do that, because I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, this is an interesting message. We really need to have some patience today, and we really need to have like maintain some inner peace and have some self-control if we feel like we're not moving forward. And then I looked at the chart, and we had this Scorpio Moon conjuncting the South Node and the square and the trine and all that, like literally exactly spelling out pretty much what is going on in the energy. So I love doing that. That's one reason that I like to do the cards alongside the astrology, is because a lot of times they come out and really validate what the astrology is saying. And I like it. I really like it when like different versions of things give the same answer. That's how I know, like, okay, it's on point. Like if I've gotten the same answer from like several different modalities, like we're going in the right direction. We're really like keyed in on something. And I was just shuffling these synchronicity cards to find a message from God for us today to help navigate this energy. And the card that came out just hopped right out of the deck for us. It simply says yes. So if there is a question, if you've been pondering something, if you've been trying to make a decision, if some crazy stuff happens today out of the blue and you got to make a choice and you don't know what to do, I mean, never, you know, specifically make a choice or something just because of something that came out on like any given video, you know, obviously use your own intuition. But if you needed a little nudge in one way or the other, the synchronicity card today, it just says yes. The answer is yes. So yes, I guess, to what the tarot said. Yes, I guess, to what the astrology chart says today. And yes, perhaps to anything that you have been, you know, unsure about or just really questioning or considering in the moment that you are watching this video, you know, whether you're watching it when it comes out or randomly watching it like far from the future from now. I don't know, but there you go. The card says yes. So that is what we have for the report today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can help you navigate a little bit better in one way or the other, or at least some entertainment or something. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I appreciate your support so much. Like, I really, truly, absolutely love you guys. I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you. I also have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, an Instagram, a TikTok, and a website. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We're going to have more astrology to talk about. Moon's going to be moving into Sagittarius. This is going to be our first moon in Sagittarius in 9 months that hasn't been activating the black moon, because the black moon is no longer in the sign of Gemini. So we're going to have some different Sagittarius vibes going on tomorrow to talk about, and a whole bunch more. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Have a beautiful day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.